Let me ask you a question that will make you angry. Who owns you? You think you are free. You think you make your own choices. But if a stranger on the internet can ruin your day with one comment, do you really own your mind? If a traffic jam can turn your mood from happy to furious in 3 seconds, do you really own your emotions? If the weather decides whether you are motivated or lazy, do you really own your actions? The answer is no. You do not own yourself. You are renting yourself. And right now, you are being driven by everyone except you. You are a puppet, and the strings are held by people who do not care about you. In 1610, a young samurai named Takeshi learned this lesson in the mud. He was the strongest swordsman in his province. He was arrogant. He was proud. He challenged a wandering monk to a duel. The monk didn't draw a sword. He simply looked at Takeshi and whispered a single insult about his mother. Takeshi snapped. Blinded by rage, he charged. He lost his form. He lost his balance. He lost his mind. The monk stepped aside, tripped him, and pinned him to the ground without shedding a drop of sweat. "You are strong," the monk whispered into the dirt. "But you are a slave." The man who angers you conquers you. And because you cannot control your temper, you belong to me. Takeshi lay in the mud, humiliated. He realized the monk was right. He was a lethal weapon, but anyone with a sharp tongue could pull the trigger. He begged the monk to teach him the secret of his calm. "The technique is dangerous," the monk said. "It is forbidden to teach it to those who are not ready to die. It is called Fudoshin, the immovable mind. It requires you to kill the part of you that craves validation. It requires you to become a ghost. Today, we are going to hand you the scissors to cut your strings. We are going to teach you the forbidden art of emotional invincibility. But be warned, once you cut the strings, you can never go back to the comfort of being a victim. You will be alone, you will be cold, and you will be free. Are you ready to stop being a puppet?" The disease of reaction. Takeshi followed the monk down the mountain path. He was muddy, he was bruised, he was ashamed. "Master," Takeshi pleaded, "I do not understand. I have trained for 10 years. My sword is faster than yours. My strength is greater than yours. How did I lose so easily?" The monk stopped. He pointed to a wild dog barking at a squirrel in a tree. "Look at that dog," the monk said. "It is furious. It is loud. It is exerting all its energy. But does the dog choose to bark?" Takeshi hesitated. "No. It barks because it sees the squirrel." "Exactly," the monk said. "The squirrel controls the dog. The squirrel moves, the dog reacts. The squirrel stops, the dog waits. The dog has no mind of its own. It is a biological machine made of reflexes." The monk turned to Takeshi, his eyes cold. "You are the dog, Takeshi. When I insulted your mother, you did not choose to attack. You had to attack. You were compelled by a force you do not understand. You think you are a warrior, but you are just a bundle of reflexes wrapped in armor. You have the illusion of choice, but you have no freedom. This is the diagnosis of your life. You suffer from the disease of reaction. 99% of your day is not action, it is reaction. Your alarm goes off, you react with grogginess. Your phone buzzes, you react with curiosity. Your boss sends a rude email. You react with anxiety. You are a pinball in a machine, bouncing off the bumpers of your environment. You go where the world hits you. You feel what the world tells you to feel. And you call this living. The samurai understood that this state is not just weak, it is lethal. In a duel, if you are reactive, you are dead. If I can make you flinch, I can kill you. If I can make you angry, I can blind you. If I can make you fearful, I can freeze you. Reaction is the surrender of sovereignty. When you react to an insult, you are handing the remote control of your emotions to the person who hates you. You are saying, "Here, you decide how I feel today." Modern neuroscience has a name for this. It is called an amygdala hijack. Your brain has two operating systems. System 1 is the reptilian brain. It is fast, emotional, and automatic. It is designed for survival. It sees a tiger and it runs. System 2 is the prefrontal cortex. It is slow, logical, and deliberate. It is designed for strategy. The problem is that System 1 is faster. When Takeshi got insulted, his amygdala screamed, "Threat!" before his logical brain could whisper, "It's just words." The signal bypassed his intelligence and went straight to his muscles. You are living in a permanent amygdala hijack. Social media is designed to trigger it. The news is designed to trigger it. Your toxic relationships are fueled by it. You are addicted to the chemical rush of indignation. You feel powerful when you get angry. You feel righteous when you get offended. But this power is a lie. It is the power of a car with a brick on the accelerator and no driver at the wheel. You are moving fast, yes, but you are crashing. The monk looked at Takeshi. "To become a master," he said, "you must surgically remove the link between the stimulus and the response. You must create a space. In that space, you cease to be a dog. You become a god. But the surgery is painful, because the part of you that loves to react is the part of you that thinks it is alive. Are you ready to kill the dog?" The gap of silence. Here is section 2, written strictly according to the locked format. Chapter 2, The Gap of Silence. Takeshi spent the next year living in the monk's hut. He expected to learn secret sword techniques. He expected to learn how to kill with a touch. Instead, the monk made him sit by a waterfall. "Watch the water," the monk commanded. "Do not let your mind wander. Do not let your body move." It sounded easy. It was hell. Within 5 minutes, a mosquito landed on Takeshi's neck. His hand twitched to slap it. Thwack! The monk struck Takeshi's shoulder with a bamboo cane. "Why did you move?" the monk asked. "The mosquito bit me!" Takeshi shouted. "It hurts!" "The pain is real," the monk said. "The movement is a choice. You felt the sensation. Then you felt the urge to react. Then you acted. You think these 3 things happen instantly. You think they are one event. They are not." The monk drew a line in the dirt. "Here is the stimulus, the bite." He drew another line a foot away. "Here is the response, the slap." He pointed to the empty space between the lines. "And here is the gap. The gap is where your freedom lives. Right now, your gap is microscopic. You are a slave to biology. Sensation leads to action instantly. We must widen the gap." For 6 months, Takeshi sat. Mosquitoes bit him. The sun burned him. The rain froze him. Every time he felt the urge to move, he forced himself to wait. He watched the urge rise like a wave. He felt his muscles tense. He felt his mind scream, "Do something!" And he did nothing. He let the wave crash against the rock of his will. He realized something terrifying. The urge to react is not a command. It is a suggestion. Your body suggests, "Itch the scratch." Your ego suggests, "Yell at the insulter." Your fear suggests, "Run away." But you do not have to listen. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Nazi death camps, discovered this same truth in the fires of the Holocaust. He wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." Frankl realized that the guards could take his clothes, his food, and his dignity, but they could not take his gap. They could beat him, but they could not force him to hate them. That was his choice. And because it was his choice, he was free, even behind barbed wire. You have no gap. When your phone buzzes, you check it. Zero gap. When you feel tired, you quit. Zero gap. When you feel offended, you type a comment. Zero gap. You are a biological machine running on default settings. To create the gap, you must practice the sacred pause. The next time you feel a strong emotion, anger, lust, fear, stop. Freeze. Do not speak. Do not move. Do not type. Take one breath. In that one breath, you step out of the amygdala and into the prefrontal cortex. You step out of the animal and into the human. You look at the emotion and say, "I see you, but I am not you." One day, the monk sat down next to Takeshi. A hornet landed on Takeshi's cheek. It crawled near his eye. It was terrifying. One sting could blind him. Takeshi's heart hammered. His instinct screamed, "Swat it!" But he found the gap. He watched the terror. He watched the urge. And he chose stillness. The hornet crawled across his nose, paused, and flew away. Takeshi let out a breath he had been holding for a minute. The monk smiled. "You have found the space," he whispered. "Now that you are no longer a slave to your body, we can teach you how to become the master of your mind." It is time to enter the fire. The Mirror of the Mind. Border 3. Written strictly according to the locked format. Chapter 3. The Mirror of the Mind. The monk led Takeshi to the edge of a perfectly still lake. The water was like black glass. It reflected the moon, the trees, and the two men standing on the bank. "What do you see?" the monk asked. "I see myself," Takeshi said. "And what is the nature of the water?" "It is calm. It is honest. It shows exactly what is there." The monk picked up a heavy stone and threw it into the center of the lake. Splash! Ripples exploded outward. The reflection shattered. Takeshi's face in the water twisted into a grotesque, broken monster. The moon became a jagged streak of light. "Now," the monk asked, "what do you see?" "I see chaos," Takeshi replied. "The water is the same," the monk said. "The moon is the same. The only thing that changed is the surface. This is the state of your mind. The Japanese call this concept meikyo shisui, clear mirror, still water. It means that when the mind is perfectly calm, it reflects reality exactly as it is. But when the mind is agitated by anger, by fear, by desire, it distorts reality. The monk turned to Takeshi. "Remember the day we met? I insulted your father, and you attacked me." "Why did you attack?" "Because you lied about him," Takeshi said. "You dishonored him." The monk smiled. "If I had called you a purple fish, would you have attacked me?" Takeshi frowned. "No, that would be foolish." "Why?" "Because I am not a purple fish. The words would mean nothing." The monk nodded. "Exactly. The insult only burns if it touches something you secretly fear is true. You attacked me not because I lied, but because you were terrified I might be right. You have insecurity about your father. I simply pointed at it. I did not create the anger, Takeshi. I just held up a mirror. You saw your own shame and you tried to smash the mirror. This is the hardest lesson you will ever learn. The world is a mirror. Everything you hate in others is a reflection of something you deny in yourself. You hate the arrogant man? That is because you are suppressing your own arrogance. You hate the lazy man? That is because you are judging your own desire to rest. You feel attacked by a comment? That is because the comment touched a wound that was already infected. If you had no wound, the salt would not hurt. This is the psychological concept of projection. You project your internal state onto external reality. When you are angry, you see a world filled with enemies. When you are fearful, you see a world filled with traps. You think you are observing reality. You are not. You are hallucinating reality based on your mood. The man who cuts you off in traffic is not disrespecting you. He's just a bad driver. But because you feel disrespected in your own life, you project malice onto his clumsiness. You turn a mistake into a war. Takeshi looked at the lake. The ripples were fading. His reflection was becoming clear again. He realized the horror of his condition. He had spent his entire life fighting enemies that didn't exist. He was fighting his own shadows, projected onto other people. "How do I stop the ripples?" Takeshi asked. "You cannot stop the stone from being thrown," the monk said. "The world will always throw stones. But you can change the depth of the water. A shallow puddle is destroyed by a pebble. An ocean absorbs a boulder without a tremor. You must become the ocean. You must accept the truth about yourself so completely that no insult can touch you. If you know who you are, the mirror never breaks." The Sword of No Sword. Here is Section 4, written strictly according to the locked format. Chapter 4. The Sword of No Sword. 3 years later, Takeshi walked into a tea house in Kyoto. He was no longer the boy who screamed in the mud. He was a man of silence. But the world does not care about your growth. The world tests it. A group of ronin, masterless samurai, were drinking in the corner. They were loud, drunk, and looking for blood. One of them, a giant of a man with a scarred face, saw Takeshi's fine sword. He stood up. He walked over to Takeshi's table and kicked it over. Tea spilled onto Takeshi's lap. The cup shattered. The room went dead silent. Every eye watched Takeshi. The Old Takeshi would have drawn his blade instantly. He would have taken the insult as a declaration of war. He would have killed this man, or died trying, to protect his honor. But Takeshi did not move. He looked at the tea soaking his robes. He looked at the shattered cup. He looked up at the giant. He accessed the gap. In that split second, he saw everything. He saw the giant's dilated pupils, fear masked as aggression. He saw the giant's trembling hand, insecurity masked as strength. He realized the giant was not attacking Takeshi. The giant was attacking the world because he hated himself. The giant was the dog barking at the squirrel, and Takeshi refused to be the squirrel. "My apologies," Takeshi said softly. "I placed my cup in a foolish spot." The giant blinked. He was confused. He expected anger. He expected fear. He didn't know what to do with an apology. "Are you a coward?" the giant roared. "Draw your sword!" He spat in Takeshi's face. The crowd gasped. This was the ultimate disrespect. Takeshi felt the saliva running down his cheek. He felt the amygdala wake up. "Kill him," it screamed. But Takeshi breathed. He remembered the lake. He remembered the mirror. If I kill him, Takeshi thought, I am reacting. If I react, I am his slave. Takeshi stood up slowly. He didn't reach for his sword. He reached for a cloth. He wiped his face. "You seem in great pain, my friend," Takeshi said, his voice genuinely sad. "I hope you find peace." He turned his back and walked toward the door. The giant roared in fury. To be ignored is worse than to be fought. He drew his sword and swung at Takeshi's unprotected back. A cowardly, lethal strike. Takeshi did not turn around. He simply shifted. He sensed the disruption in the air. He felt the intent. Because his mind was perfectly still, like the surface of the lake, he could feel the ripple before the stone hit. He stepped to the side. The blade sliced the empty air where his spine had been. In one fluid motion, Takeshi spun. He didn't draw his sword. He didn't need to. He caught the giant's wrist. He applied pressure to a single nerve. The giant dropped his sword and fell to his knees, screaming. Takeshi stood over him. He did not look angry. He looked bored. "You cannot cut me," Takeshi whispered, "because there is no one here to cut. I am empty, and you cannot kill the void." He released the wrist. The giant scrambled away, terrified. He wasn't afraid of Takeshi's strength. He was afraid of his nothingness. Takeshi picked up his hat and walked out into the rain. He had won the duel without drawing steel. He had mastered the supreme technique of the samurai. Muto Dori, the victory of no sword. He defeated the enemy not by overpowering him, but by refusing to play his game. This is the ultimate goal of mind control. It is not to suppress your emotions. It is to transcend the need for them. When you are truly in control, you don't need to prove you are strong. You don't need to have the last word. You don't need to win the argument, because you realize that the only true victory is keeping your own peace. The moment you start fighting to prove your worth, you have already lost. Takeshi disappears into the mist of history. He is no longer a man. He is a lesson etched in time. but the giant still lives. The giant is not a drunken samurai in a tea house. The giant is your boss who disrespects you. The giant is the political post that makes your blood boil. The giant is the memory of your ex-partner that keeps you awake at 2 a.m. They are all standing in front of you, spitting in your face, waiting for you to draw your sword. And every day, you make the mistake of fighting them. You argue, you stress, you type furious paragraphs. You replay the scene in your head 1,000 times. You think you are fighting for your honor. You are not. You are feeding a ghost. The ghost is your ego. The ego is the part of you that believes it is the center of the universe. It believes that every insult is a threat to its survival. It believes that if you do not have the last word, you will cease to exist. Takeshi teaches us the only way to kill the ghost. You must starve it. You starve it by refusing to give it what it wants. Reaction. Imagine your life 1 year from now if you mastered the gap. Imagine if someone insulted you and you felt nothing. Not suppression, just nothing. Imagine if you lost your job and instead of panicking, you simply observed the event, assessed your options, and moved. Imagine if you were completely immune to the emotional turbulence of the world. You would be dangerous. Because a man who cannot be triggered cannot be controlled. You would be the puppet master of your own reality. But this freedom comes with a price. The price is the death of your righteousness. You have to give up the pleasure of being the victim. You have to give up the high of being angry. You have to accept that sometimes people will be wrong about you, and you will do nothing to correct them. You will let them be wrong. You will let the stone splash into the lake, and you will remain the ocean. Musashi, the greatest samurai who ever lived, wrote in his final scroll, "Do not regret what you have done." He meant, do not live in the past. Do not live in the reaction. Be here. Be empty. Be free. The scissors are in your hand. The strings are tight. The world is pulling them right now. Are you going to dance for them? Or are you going to cut? So tell me, what is the one string that triggers you the most? And are you finally ready to cut it today? If you are ready to kill the puppet and become the master, leave a comment. Cut the string.